Oh, good morning, and thank you once again for joining me with Story Time with Joyce. Last week we read where Betty was working at the zoo and she got pinched on the buttocks by a gorilla. She was okay. And we also learned that she did take her granddaughter to California, to Disneyland, so that was exciting for her. And this chapter is called Fire. Betty returned to her City Hall job, and things seemed to be going smoothly in her life. She was recouping the money she had spent on her trip to California and even was managing to put a little aside. She still lived in her one-room flat, and it became her place of refuge. One night while she was at her City Hall job, a fire broke out in the building. One of Betty's crew members asked her if she smelled smoke. "Yes, do you think someone is smoking in the building?" "No, our crew knows not to smoke on the job. I think it's a fire somewhere in the building." "Where is everybody?" Betty asked. "Our crew is all over these top floors, so we're pretty close. Let's go into the hall and see what's going on," Betty's coworker said. "Smoke! It's coming from under that door," Betty said. "Come on, we'd better get out of here. Let's take the stairs." Betty and her coworker opened the door to the stairwell. They could see flames coming from below, and some of their crew members were coming down the stairs. They met in the stairwell and went back into the hallway. They all seemed to say at the same time, "What do we do?" "Well, we can't go down, that's for sure, and I don't want to go back up. I guess we'll just have to wait here," one of the crew said. "I hear the alarm. Someone must have reported the fire," Betty said. "Listen, there's fire engines." "The smoke is getting pretty bad," a crew member said. "Let's get into the other room. Maybe the smoke is not that bad in there," Betty suggested. Carol and Ruth were watching the commotion on television. The announcer reported that the fire was out of hand, raging on the first, second, and third floors. It was reported that the cleaning crew was trapped on the upper floors. They knew their mom was working there that night and they were glued to the television. Firemen were hosing the building, and all of a sudden they saw a ladder being raised up to one of the windows. Betty's coworker shouted, "Betty, guys, come over here by the window." Firemen are raising a ladder and are helping people out of the window from the floor below. "Do they see us up here?" someone asked. "I think so," Betty responded. Just then they heard a voice shouting from below through what looked like a megaphone. "We're coming up to get you guys. Get ready." Betty and her crew watched the last person being helped down the ladder from the floor below. At the same time the ladder was being elevated up to them, the smoke started to pour into the room. There were 4 of them that had to be helped out. A fireman appeared at the window. He asked, "Is everyone okay? And is everyone here?" "Yes, there's just 4 of us and we're all okay." "Okay, single file. Come on, take my hand and don't look down," the fireman instructed. Betty was the first to be helped out onto and down the ladder. The remaining 3 men also made it out successfully. Ruth and Carol let out a sigh of relief when it was announced that all 30 people who were in the building were out safely. It was the first of several more fires in that city hall. Betty stopped working for that cleaning crew and took a job at an amusement park, collecting tickets. She was done with being a janitress. A gorilla was one thing, but a fire was too much. The years rolled by. Betty took tickets at the amusement park during the summer. She enjoyed visits from Anne, who was older now and married. Betty still lived in her one-room flat. She and Anne had many a sleepover in that Murphy bed, but now she usually met Anne for dinner. She was content, not necessarily fulfilled, but content. Serena would come by now and then for their girl time. One day, Serena happened to just stop by, which was out of the norm. Usually their visits were planned. So when she knocked on the door, it surprised Betty. And when Betty opened the door and saw Serena, she squealed with delight and hugged her, then said, "Serena, what are you doing here? Although I am so glad you stopped by." Then asked another question before Serena had a chance to answer the first one. "Did you bring those delicious pastries?" Serena laughed and said, "Of course. I took a chance that you would be home because I have something I want to tell you." I'm home most of the winter. The amusement park closes in September, so I'm off until next May. I get to claim unemployment during the winter. What is so important that you had to come all the way over here to tell me? Let's talk it over tea. Serena answered, for she wanted to take her time telling Betty. Okay, Betty said, then continued, here's a plate for pastries. As Betty was pouring the tea, she asked, all right, now tell me. Serena started with, there is a program for foster grandmothers at the private medical psychiatric hospital. They are looking for grandmothers to work with children that don't have relatives of their own. I thought of you right away. You would be cooking. And yes, let's not forget bootlegging. Don't sell yourself so short. I think you would be wonderful foster grandmother. Then Serena said sternly, come on, I'm going to take you over there now. They are taking applications and doing interviews today. Oh, I can't go. Serena answered in her usual forceful way. Why not? You're not doing anything today. Grab your coat and let's go. Serena, I don't want to go because I don't want to be embarrassed. Like I said, I really don't have anything to offer. That would be hard to hear from a stranger. Betty, how can you say that? You have so much to offer, and I'm sorry that you are not in touch with that. Serena said harshly, then continued, maybe if you did this job, you would find out what your gifts are. Maybe you would realize you have so much to offer. Now I'm going to ask you again, can I take you over to apply? You always could get me to do things. Yes, I will change and go with you. Maybe you are right. Maybe I do have something to offer. And just maybe, through this program, I will find out what it is. So thanks again for joining me. If you would like to purchase Betty, or my next book, Ruth, or the next book, Carol, there's 3 in my trilogy, you can go to Amazon.com. And all books are written by Joyce Bennett-Hall, or you can go to my website, joycebennetthall.com. Now, next month, the month of February, I'm going to be doing readings and discussing some of the points I have written about in my book, Deliberate Decisions. It's a self-help book, and we have some exercises in that book, and I'll be also doing the exercises with you on the YouTube channel. So if you'd like to watch or be part of that, I will post a link below, and you can click on the link and join and subscribe the YouTube channel. And I'll keep you posted as to when I will start with Deliberate Decisions. Until then, I will be doing Story Time with Joyce next Tuesday, and we're getting close to the end of the book. We're going to find out if Betty is a good foster grandmother. Have a great week, and I will see you next Tuesday. Bye.